I want to open with something before we get into this because I think it sets the tone perfectly. This quote right here: a strong woman can do anything by herself, a strong man doesn't let her. Sit with that for a second because what we're about to talk about today is not about being hard on yourself, it's not about shame, it's not about beating yourself up over choices you've already made. Some of you are going to hear these things and recognize yourself in them, and that is okay. Awareness is the beginning of change. What matters is what you do with the information going forward. So these are things I have seen women do, brilliant, capable, worthy women that quietly cost them their peace, their power, and sometimes themselves. And the painful part is that most of them were done out of love, out of desire, out of the genuine hope that if I just give a little more, this will finally work. But some things don't work no matter how much you give. And the sooner you know that, the sooner you can stop giving your best to the wrong situations and the wrong men. Hey there, I'm Avarel Smith, certified dating and relationship coach. And if you've been rocking with me from the beginning, welcome back to my channel. For you newbies, welcome. I appreciate you all. So let's get into the 7 things that a woman should never do for a man, even if she loves him. Number 1, pretending to be someone you are not. This one is subtle. It does not always look like a costume. Sometimes it looks like laughing at things that aren't funny to you, agreeing with things you actually disagree with, suppressing your real feelings because you are afraid your real feelings are too much, performing a version of yourself that you calculated will keep his attention, and slowly losing track of who you actually are in the process. So here's what I need you to understand. You might be able to sustain the performance for a while. Some women sustain it for years, but you cannot sustain it forever. And even if somehow you manage to keep it going, you're not happy because you're in a constant, exhausting conflict with your own truth. You cannot be at peace while simultaneously betraying yourself every single day. The relationship you build on a false version of yourself is not a real relationship. He fell in love with a character. And when your true self eventually surfaces, and it will, everything built on that performance is at risk. I love Iyanla Vanzant's quote that says, when you don't show up as who you are, people fall in love with who you're not. Then when they find out who you are, that's when they leave. Don't let that be your story. You have to be more afraid of losing yourself than you are of losing him. That is not a quote. That is a standard. The right man does not need you to be someone else. He's drawn to who you actually are. And if who you actually are doesn't hold his interest, well, girlfriend, that is your answer, not a reason to keep auditioning for him. Number 2, financially carrying a man who has not earned that level of trust. Now, before anyone misreads this, I am not talking about a committed relationship or a marriage where a man hits a difficult season and his partner steps up to carry more of the weight temporarily. That is partnership. That is what love looks like sometimes. What we're talking about here is when you start financing a man who has not, and I repeat, who has not committed to you, lending money, covering bills, running up your credit, absorbing his financial responsibilities. For a man who has not poured into you, has not claimed you, and has not shown you the kind of character that warrants that level of trust. So here is what happens when you do this. First, you create an attachment that has nothing, and I repeat, nothing to do with love. I have watched women stay in relationships they knew were wrong because they had given a man money and needed it back. The relationship was already over, but the $5,000 had her stuck. That is not love keeping you there. That is a financial hostage situation. Second, it creates a whole lot of resentment. When the money is not returned at the pace you expected, when you have to chase him down for payments, When you realize you have to ask for what he should have volunteered, that tension poisons everything. So even if this relationship had a real potential chance of surviving, the financial imbalance will totally erode it. So I need you to understand that. And third, and this is the one nobody wants to say out loud, if this man had no idea, or no one else, I should say, to ask for before he came to you, that is a red flag worth examining. Because a man with integrity, with genuine relationships, with people who trust him, he has options. If you are the only one he can turn to, ask yourself why. It may be that he has already burned every other bridge, or he knows those people will hold him accountable in ways he is not ready for, and he's hoping that you will not hold him accountable. Give only what you are genuinely okay losing. And I want you to be honest with yourself about what this pattern is really costing you, because it is costing you something. The third sign, becoming his doormat. This one sneaks up on women because it does not announce itself. It does not show up as one big moment of surrender. It shows up as 100 small ones. You let that comment slide. You do not bring up that thing that bothered you. You said yes when you actually meant no. You make yourself smaller and more accommodating and more flexible. Not because you genuinely feel good about it, but because you are afraid that saying no means losing him. Here's what I need you to know. Softness and boundaries are not opposites. You can be warm, feminine, gracious, loving, and still know your boundary lines. You can say no with kindness. No is a complete sentence. You can express a boundary with grace. The two are not in conflict unless you have been taught that keeping the peace means silencing yourself. And that is a lesson worth unlearning. The man who is right for you, he will not leave because you expressed a need. He will rise to meet that need. He will not pull back because you set a limit. A man who genuinely wants you because, hey, he wants to know where your lines are because he does not want to cross them. He wants you to be happy. And if expressing your discomfort causes him to shut down, disappear, or punish you, that is your answer, sis. Not a reason to go quieter. Stop shrinking to fit a space that was never big enough for you in the first place. The fourth one, letting him move in before he has earned it. So I want to be very direct here because this is one of those decisions that looks small at the front end and becomes enormous on the back end. When you allow a man to move into your home, into your space, your sanctuary, your name on the lease, before the foundation is solid, you are taking on a level of risk that most women do not fully calculate until they are already inside of it. And sometimes at that point, it's a little late. You feel you've already invested too much and you don't want to let go. So ask yourself these questions before you ever entertain it. Is he moving in because he genuinely has nowhere else to go? And if so, why? Is that situation the result of irresponsibility, burned bridges, an inability to sustain himself? Ask yourself these questions because whatever created that situation does not disappear when he crosses your threshold. It moves in with him. Remember that. Is this man someone you have seen in his natural environment enough to know how he lives, how he treats a space, whether he pulls his weight or expects to be accommodated? And most importantly, do you have an exit strategy? Because if you let a man move in with no plan for what happens if it does not work, you will find yourself tolerating things you should not be tolerating because you do not want to be the person who puts him out. And I have seen women endure months, sometimes years, of a relationship that was clearly over because they could not bring themselves to make the difficult call. Your peace is not negotiable. Your home should be a place you feel safe, calm, and in control of. Be very careful about who you give access to that space and under what terms. The fifth one, cutting off your family and friends for him. If a man is asking you to isolate yourself from the people who love you, that is not love. That is control. And I need you to call it what it is. Controlling men do not want you to have people around you who can see what he is doing. They do not want your mother asking questions. They do not want your best friend raising her eyebrow. They do not want anyone in your life who might give you the clarity or the courage to walk away from him. So they slowly, and sometimes not so slowly, work to remove those people from your world until the only voice you hear regularly is his. That is not a relationship, sis. That is a trap with a romantic label stamped on it. Now, there are real situations where certain people in your life are genuinely toxic to your relationship. Certain friendships or family dynamics that bring chaos, interference, or genuine harm. Those conversations are worth having honestly. But there is a very significant difference between a man saying, I am concerned about how this specific person affects us, and a man who wants everyone gone. Community is not a threat to a healthy relationship. As a matter of fact, it strengthens it. The people who love you, who know you, who will tell you the truth, those people are a gift. Do not surrender them for a man who cannot stand the accountability their presence creates. The sixth one, hear me out on this one, giving him a baby when there is no commitment. So I want to be thoughtful here because life is complicated and not every situation fits neatly into a category. Believe me, I know that. I get that. Unexpected things happen. I understand that. But I want to speak directly to the woman who is being asked or pressured by a man to have his child while marriage is not even part of the conversation. And not just part of the conversation, but when you bring it up, suddenly you are moving too fast as far as he's concerned. Think about it. He is ready to create a lifetime human being with you. But the mention of a commitment has him pumping the brakes. That is not confusion. That is a strategy, sis. And I need you to call it for what it is. A baby creates a permanent connection with this man. A marriage can be dissolved. Some men understand that math very clearly, even if they never say it out loud. And the woman who goes along with it, hoping the baby will move him towards commitment, often finds herself more attached and more alone than she was before. If a man wants to build a family with you, he should be willing to build a foundation with you first. The order matters. You matter enough to be chosen officially, publicly, and on purpose before you carry anything for him. Now, on to number 7, walking away from God for him. I will say this simply and clearly. The man God has for you will pull you closer to who you are called to be, not further away. If you find yourself drifting from your faith, compromising on your values, ignoring the quiet conviction in your spirit because of a man, That is not love leading you. That is desire drowning out your discernment. And you're a duchess and you're the chooser. So you're going to exercise that discernment that God gave you. And sometimes it is not even the man pulling you. Sometimes it is us. Sometimes our own longing gets so loud that we start rationalizing things we know are not right. We talk ourselves into situations our spirit was already warning us about. We want what we want badly enough to move off the path that was actually designed for our good. None of us is perfect. We all will make mistakes in our lives. We will all fall short in some reason, but keep coming back. Keep getting up. Keep returning to the truth that what God has for you does not require you to abandon what God has placed in you. No man, no matter how wonderful he seems, no matter how much you want it to work, is worth the cost of your soul, your peace, or your relationship with the one who actually knows what you need and where you are going. You deserve a love that does not cost you yourself. Remember that, sis. And if you need a safe space to get extra support, then I invite you to join my community, Date Like a Duchess. Come on in and let's work on mastering the art of dating with clarity, confidence, and communication. The link is right below this video. I will see you inside.